Hey there, my name's Dimitri, and in this video, I'm gonna show you how TextCortex has the amazing ability to do something that you wish you had in any of the other LLM tools out there. Say you're an active JD, or you're somebody who's doing a research paper and is in law school. There's actually this really neat capability now in our tools section that allows you to access legal search. How does it work? You'll be able to search on publicly available legal databases like cornell.edu, supremecourt.gov, US courts, congress.gov, and gov.info. So for example, if I wanted to go to the United States, that would be those, and then there's a bunch of different other ones in different countries. As you can see here, they're representative of their specific countries and, in some cases, the EU and their European countries as well, as in the EU handle. Now, if I'm in the United States and I want to look something up, I can ask a question: what are the most recent cases surrounding, and then I could look up my legal research topic that I would be in charge of. So fast food versus the American people. All right, let's take a look at some of these. So we have the sources right here, which is really convenient. So obviously with anything inside of TextCortex, this is available. I can click on this and it'll immediately go to said PDFs. If I click on all of these, pretty much just sends me there. So the United States Courts of Appeals for the Seventh Circuit, Lianani Deslandis and Stephanie Turner, McDonald's USA LLC and McDonald's Corporation. So this is in 2023. This is actually a pretty interesting one because, McDonald's has been in hot water for a long while, and it says the date here. So for example, what I could do for a lot of these is basically say, okay, now that I have this context, can you, and obviously this could get added to our knowledge base if I wanted, by downloading it, like saving it as a PDF, for example. Yeah, McDonald's versus Leandis. That's a really difficult name. Versus Lianani Deslandis. Upload from computer, add this, okay? Now, take this court case and give me a detailed breakdown of what happened in the first place to prompt the case, the discourse around it, and the conclusion it came to. All right, so what prompted the case is that McDonald's widespread use of anti-poach clauses, also called no-poach clauses, in their franchise agreements. Until recently, every McDonald's franchise agreement contained these restrictive employment clauses. So each franchisee's operator promised not to hire any person by a different franchise or by McDonald's itself until 6 months after the last date that the person had worked for McDonald's or another franchise. This is common practice in a lot of different companies. So I think that's interesting. The plaintiff situation was that McDonald's franchise employees who worked while these clauses were in force and weren't able to take higher paying offers at other franchises. Okay, interesting. Legal claims and arguments. The plaintiff filed suit. Okay, interesting. So after the judge invited plaintiffs to file an amended complaint alleging market power and they declined to do so, the judge dismissed the complaint with prejudice, ending the suit. So what we find here is a very good breakdown, and what I would say is actually I can go above and beyond this. And sure, I could have went down the rabbit hole of using McDonald's and fast food as a reference, but what about anti-poaching cases? Could you find other instances of anti-poaching cases like the example below, right? And with this, we keep going into the research database, finding more and more data. And what I would recommend you do is create a knowledge base, right? That would be about different subjects, especially if you're doing this legal writing type stuff. What you can do is create a knowledge base, for example, called anti-poaching or called fast food versus America, and continue to dive more and more into this. Like for example, this is from the us.gov. Interesting. Individual victim case. Okay. Let's take a look at this one. I'm actually curious about the personal side of the victimhood here. Okay. And then we got, let's take a look at one of these ones here. Seems like the common legal theme is that cases involve the deliberate manufacturing of lack of mobility for workers, which is fair. The courts across these cases are grappling with whether no-poach agreements should be treated as automatically illegal or potentially justified if they serve legitimate business purposes. These cases suggest a widespread pattern across multiple industries, fast food to railways to other sectors, where employers have no-poach agreements to restrict worker mobility. The legal system is actively addressing these issues. Okay, so this gets us deep into a topic. So what if I just write out, based on this, can you give me more examples and write a deep debrief of this industry-wide pattern, citing your sources and usable for a research paper. Now I'm using Claude 4 for this, which is a great model. You can also use, I'd say 2.5 Pro, since it's got a lot of context window. I really like that for that reason. I would actually edit this and say, because of the context window, it might make more sense to just take this, switch it to 2.5 Pro, which has had some great updates recently, FYI, and run this guy. All right, well, look at this. So we got a really nice report written right now, which says industry-wide pattern of no poach agreements that provided documents. Okay, examples. Deep debrief. The litigation across these industries reveals recurring legal arguments and economic theories. This is a restriction that is a necessary part of a larger legitimate business collaboration, such as a franchise agreement, the naked restraint. This is kind of the argument that they're having, which is really important to note. Like when you're doing this research, it's important to note the different positions that are being held. And this did a good job of summarizing all of this, and you can keep on expanding it by using the research from not only the United States, but maybe referencing other countries, I think is a good idea too. Obviously, you don't want to just generally search the internet. You want to search for legal stuff. So please make sure that you're utilizing the different countries here and the different models to get the best writing for what you need. I really like this. I think it's a great option for so many people. So I'd recommend you trying out the legal research tool today. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.